Hello everyone, I'm Carolyn Ellis. I'm here with Katie Faniff. We are both from Weston Garden Club, and we are here to do a step-by-step floral demonstration for you. We're being hosted by Weston Art and Innovation Center, a beautiful renovation and repurpose of our old library building in Weston Center. It is just gorgeous, and we're so lucky to be able to use this space. Katie and I are members of Weston Garden Club, and our club has a really broad mission. We do projects related to civic, to conservation, and to floral design. We learn from each other in all these areas. So it's really, it's been incredibly valuable to me and given me a love of the many things that we do. Katie and I want to share that with you today. So it's been a long winter, spring is finally here, and we're going to do a color block design with spring colored flowers. So first you need to begin with a vision for what you want your arrangement to look like. Where are we going with this? And my vision is spring. It's a small to medium-sized arrangement that could go in a number of places. This is going to be an arrangement that really wants an up-close look. And in this color blocking, I'm going to keep the flowers quite close to the container so you won't see the stems. The stems will be long enough to reach into the water, but they're not going to be an airy part of this design. That comes later. That's another time.
So Carolyn, are there other types of containers that would lend themselves to this type of arrangement?
There are many kinds. Actually, a round container might be a little easier to work with. Maybe I'm trying to get a square peg into a round hole. I hope not.
If anyone can do it, you can.
We'll see how I do. But yes, a bowl or a compote, a footed bowl would be beautiful for something like this, or even an urn. And you can let the color blocking flow out. It doesn't have to be short stems. I just chose that for today. Yeah. So, for the container I chose, I have a ceramic cube. It's about 4 to 5 inches on a side, and it's a white matte finish. Look at this angularity, the folding on the sides. I thought this was so fun, a little sexy, and just contemporary, and a great offset to these wonderful flowers that we're so happy to see after a really long winter.
I can't wait to see the finished product.
Yeah. For mechanics, I'm using a tape grid. And I have floral tape, it's 1/4 inch wide. And I'm to put 2 pieces across in one direction, and now I'm going to take and put 2 pieces in the other direction, essentially building a tic-tac-toe grid, and having the square open in the center is just really, really nice for flower placement. So again, if your container's nice and dry, your tape will stick really well. There is clear tape, which is very discreet and lovely to use. I find it isn't as strong. And here I'm going to be putting a lot of stems densely into this grid, and I don't want the tape to fail. That's not what I need, especially when we're on camera. It would not be the time.
Well, and to be honest, Carolyn, the tape grid, I have not had much success with that, I have to confess. And I feel more comfortable with Oasis. Can you use Oasis for this type of arrangement?
Absolutely. Oasis would give tremendous stability. Okay. It would be great. We are trending away from Oasis when we can because there are some concerns that it's not the greatest thing for the environment. It doesn't break down all that well. And we do have some people in our club who are really great advocates for going Oasis, floral foam free when you can.
Well, I look forward to learning more about how to be successful with this.
If you had some trouble, it might be that your container was large.
Okay.
Or even that your tape grid, the spacing was wider and you couldn't get. One of the tricks is to make the spacing work so that as you put your first stems in, they roughly stay where you want them, and then they offer support to the next ones going in. And if it's all too spread out,
then it doesn't really work.
So well.
Okay.
But
all
use
right.
Oasis when you need to.
I'll give it a try.
and let it rise above the container, maybe a 1/2 inch or so. I want to next introduce you to the flowers I'm going to use. So I have here a selection of tulips. These are double tulips, kind of a raspberry pink. This is a pale pink ranunculus that is just a showstopper, totally a showstopper. Here I have close to you this wonderful pink and cream tulip, classic form. Here's just a plain raspberry tulip, again, very nice. Then we have hellebore, which is in many people's gardens this time of year. We have some Fuji mums on the smaller side. These are really available year-round, rarely found in the garden. Have Dusty Miller, which offers very nice contrast and color as a foliage.
So Carolyn, let me ask, how did you decide what to buy for flowers?
Well, I knew I wanted spring colors, so I was thinking pale pink, soft coral, maybe pale yellow with some cream and some bright green. Right. And as I looked around, when I saw these pale pink ranunculus, that was it. Fell in love, decided that would be the focal flower, the key element, and I would spin everything else around that.
Okay. So then there's not much in our gardens right now. It's early spring. And so did you have to go shopping for your plant material?
I did shop.
Okay.
I shopped at the wholesale market in Chelsea for this plant material, mostly. Some of it I did buy at Wilson Farm in Lexington. And I started with the ranunculus and then purchased tulips to go with that. Yeah. Hellebore I love because it bridges flowers and foliage with its wonderful green color, and I love the creamy version. Really, most grocery stores, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, anywhere that you can buy flowers in bunches, usually 10 stems or 5 stems, that's a great place to get flowers. I also try to shop the day before. Gives me time to get familiar with the flowers, to get them ready, to kind of live with them, and to make sure that I feel like I know what I'm doing when it's time to put the arrangement together. So did I cover everything? I did want to make sure you saw this Japanese Andromeda.
Yes.
This is from the garden, and this
That's
is a
from the garden, yes.
particularly pretty one because look, it has little pink stems and a pink blush, which is ideal for this.
Great.
Yeah. I love plant material that has a drape and a droop. So we're getting that with this and with the hellebore and with the Dusty Miller. And oh, I didn't show you. I also have spearmint.
So did you get that at the grocery store?
No. I got this at Wilson Farm in the floral department.
Oh, great.
It has a great fragrance, though. Hard to smell through the mask, but
I can smell a little bit.
there you go. Yeah. When I break the leaves off, you can really smell it. Yeah. So I'm going to start putting this arrangement together.
Yes.
And I'm visualizing, you've heard me say this before, I'm sure, I'm visualizing a clock as I look down on this. So I've got 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. That just gives me a visual anchor, which I really like. And I've also turned this so the corner's facing me rather than square on.
Okay.
Again, I'm trying to put a round arrangement into a square container, so we'll see how I do. So I do want to start with these double tulips. Tulips often have a really nice drape to them, and we're going to let these come out of the container and take a little turn. I'm hoping I'm going to stack them up, a group of them, and here I'm going to give this a fresh cut. These stems want to be just even a little longer than I was allowing for. Containers can be deceiving with how much.
So Carolyn, as you're preparing to do this, what particular gears and tools do you need to get started like you're starting here? We have the container and the mechanics and the plant material. What else do you need?
Well, you're pretty much seeing what I really need.
Yeah.
I have my snips. I love these snips. They have an elongated blade and they have good leverage. I inherited these from someone in my flower guild at church, so I don't know where to get them, but I like them a lot. This is an option. You like these, right? And most people do. I have these too, and I love them.
Right.
But I find I always fall back to this.
And that's just an old standby. The shorter ones are called Joyce Chen floral snips, and they're helpful because when you cut the stem, it doesn't crush the stem. You're trying to keep it intact.
Right. Absolutely. The other thing that's really important is my turntable. And this is, it's kind of a kitchen accessory. They're available in a number of places. I love this because I can make sure I'm doing all sides and doing the back. I use this every time I arrange, whether someone's watching me or whether I'm just arranging for myself. So yeah, so that works really well. So here I have these tucked in. I'm going to go next with one of these beautiful ranunculus. Put it in, get them next door. I'm going to leave the stem a little on the long side. See how I like that. I do want to say, once you make a cut, you can't put back what you cut away. So you may see me cutting twice or even 3 times. It's better to make an approximate cut and then snip again.
Okay, so don't go too far with the first cut.
Right,
Okay.
right. And because these blossoms are good size, I want as much stem as possible to get a little balance and a little bit of weight. I wouldn't put this in here 2 inches long and then hope. I don't think it would stay in the container. I think it would.
Fall over.
It would jump right out. Yeah, exactly, exactly. So let's find a few more of these. These ranunculus are very pretty, and they're doing something very interesting. They are sticking together. So I want you to see the shape of their stems. Look at this, aren't they just great? They have a nice clean stem without foliage, which is actually great for color blocking because I'm not having to deal with a lot of foliage getting into these tight little spaces and kind of clogging things up. And let's see if I can get this right in here.
Ranunculus are one of my favorite.
Are they a favorite?
Flowers.
They're very beautiful. They've really been coming into their own. The growers are producing more and more of them with more varieties. They're just incredibly beautiful. I was at the flower fields in Carlsbad, California not too long ago, and they have fields and fields of ranunculus. It's just, it's astounding. It's just astounding. And I have a friend who's a master gardener there, and they were tasked, I should say, with walking the fields and finding, not mutants, but variants, so that they can come up with new varieties of ranunculus.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't that sound like fun?
Yes. So do those fields supply our grocery stores and our floral markets and things like that?
Yes, yeah. But it's just one operation. I think these actually came from Italy.
I was going to say a lot of overnight flights with flowers.
Right.
Right.
Right. Well, they bring croissant dough from France
Right.
to a little place in Lexington, and then they bake it in the morning. So I guess you could bring ranunculus over without any problem. So now I'm going to use these Fuji mums. Look at the texture on that. So I don't know if I would call ranunculus smooth or textured. I mean, the petals are very smooth, but there are billions of them. So that is giving a kind of some nice bit of texture there as you look into their little faces. I'm going to tuck this in here. How do you like that for color? You like that?
Yes. And I see that color pulls out the center of is it in the ranunculus too? That green?
Yes. It's just incredible.
Gorgeous.
I know, it's really fun. It's so fun.
That's a
Look
fun,
at
the spider mums are fun
yes.
because they continue to open and they can be
do.
kind of floppy at times.
They do, and this green goes with everything, everything. So I do want to hold on to a couple of these little buds for later. Look at the wonderful little shape we're getting. How cute and fun. So let me just leave these right here. Don't let me forget.
Okay, I'll try.
Don't let me forget to work with them. There's always a little danger here, getting carried away.
So Carolyn, this plant material is beautiful. It's clean, it's organized. So what did you have to do to get it ready for today, for arranging it?
Oh, I conditioned it.
Oh, you conditioned it. What does that mean?
conditioned
What does that mean?
Well, in the simplest form, it means I brought it home the day before, and I unwrapped the packages. I cut away or took away any leaves that were damaged or looked a little diseased or wilted. I separated everything out so that I could really kind of see what each stem looked like. And then I keep my buckets and vases. You can see I have a collection of these beautiful large vases. I keep them clean. I think that's really important. I like them wiped down with a paper towel. Don't use harsh cleansers because the residue is bad for the flowers.
Okay.
But then I fill them with 2 to 4 inches of tepid water with a little powdered flower food and put the stems in, each one with a nice fresh cut and usually at an angle. So that's what I did.
So
and then they're ready. I mean that.
Yeah. So the Andromeda, did you also condition that? It was from your garden.
I did. If you want the flowers to try to last a week or something, there are very elaborate things you can do. Different flowers have different treatments. They prefer hot water, cold water. But honestly, for a home arrangement that I want to last a couple of days or through an event, for me it's always balancing how much preparation and work, how much time do I have, or do I just want to get this done and make flowers a part of my life? So.
So it doesn't have to be complicated. It can
It
be quick
doesn't
and
have to
simple.
be.
Right.
No. I have arranged flowers at the Museum of Fine Arts, and there the goal was to make a flower arrangement last for a week.
Yes.
They were large, and there was a big investment in the plant material. So, but this isn't quite. That's not what we're worried about right here. So let me turn this around so you and everybody can see how we're doing here.
That's sweet.
And then I have my tape right here so I can get back to what I'm considering the front of this arrangement, before we don't get too lost here, right? I don't want to get lost on the journey. And now, the next thing I want to add are these lovely bicolor tulips. Look at that with the ranunculus. Tell me that's not pretty. Some of these more leaves than they need. We'll give it a little fresh cut before we tuck it in. Let's see if we can make this work right in here. There. Here. There. Katie, you told me that you love color block design. Why? You want to tell us?
Oh, I do. I had to think about that for a while, but I think it's because when you're doing the color blocking, you're grouping the flowers together, and it creates a bigger visual impact. And I think when I was a beginner, that made it fun for me, because then when I saw the impact, I could then see the balance and movement in the arrangement and try to arrange accordingly so that it was pleasing to the eye. And it was really fun. It's still one of my favorites, even though I'm a little more experienced now in floral arranging. But I have to say, one aspect of this too is that because of the tight color blocking arrangement, it's really nice not to have to worry about the stems and wondering if they're going to behave when I'm putting the arrangement together. So that takes that piece out of the equation for this.
I totally understand. I'm right there with you. I actually find when the flowers are grouped together, I see them more as individuals. I see their individuality. And also, it feels rich to me and tranquil both. I feel that there's an abundance, but then there's sort of a calmness to the look. So I'm with you. I think they're just wonderful. And they don't have to be tight like this. We could be doing an arrangement with tulips just reaching out, but all together.
All together.
Yes, yeah. And it's a little garden-esque as well. I mean, flowers do grow. Blossoms appear in groups in the garden, so I think that's another reason it feels comfortable and natural to us. But it's a great arrangement for beginners, especially with the stem issue. You don't have to worry about blossoms at the top of a stem, and are they going to be where you want?
And so for an arrangement like this, do you worry about the height of the flowers as compared to the height of the container? Or
well, a little bit I do. What I'm doing here is letting some of these things pop up, but I'm also going to really try to work on a nice drape over the container to kind of take away some of the mass of that. And I haven't quite finished with that. When I add the hellebores, that will help. And also I was counting on this Andromeda to really drape down quite a
so
bit.
pretty, and the white ties in with the container too.
Yes, yeah. The white on these tulips. I think when you use a white container, it is nice to have some white in the floral material. Yeah. But every rule is made to be broken, so don't hold me to it. Don't hold me to it. So what do I have left? Oh, I have the hellebore. Oh, look at this. Hellebore is definitely in the garden now, and the colors are so pretty. And many of our members are great hellebore growers. Our club has phenomenal horticulturalists and gardeners. Oh my goodness. So I've always had a lot to learn. In fact, that was one of the things that drew me to the club, was the opportunity to learn from other members who were really interested in gardening and doing a great job.
Well, and one thing to keep in mind too is that the garden club is meant to be a place of learning as well and sharing information, but you don't have to be knowledgeable in everything or have an interest in all aspects of gardening. Some people focus on horticulture, some people just focus on plant design, like putting these arrangements together. I think I'm more drawn to making the arrangements. I do enjoy being in my garden, but I think most of the gardeners would say I don't have a garden. I have opportunity to learn.
Right. Yeah, I think it takes a special kind of person to want to have really dirty hands and really dirty fingernails. Yeah, but I do love being in the garden. Yeah. And I have learned so much from our members about gardening, pruning, And actually, you know, I purchased flowers for today. There, that's a nice little drape. Look at that. You know
Oh,
that?
so
Isn't that pretty?
So pretty.
I think I'll add some more of that over here. I love this hellebore.
Oh,
It's the
hellebore. Oh, that's so
best.
pretty.
How many people do you know who are in love with hellebore?
Well, I didn't know what it was for a while. You can buy it, like it's a nice container plant too for the early spring when you're not so sure what will survive
Absolutely.
the weather, the spring
Absolutely.
snows. But bite my tongue, I know. But they do happen occasionally. And the hellebore is just, it's a winter, isn't it a winter flower too? It can,
Well, it's late winter. Late
Okay.
winter. And they
So
really come into their own. There's so many varieties now that are mauve and purple. And there. Cute. So I'm getting a little more height here. You probably like that, right?
I do.
Were you worried that it was
I was
a little
worried it was going to be a little too small.
I could tell. Katie and I have done a lot of things together over the years.
Well, I do trust Carolyn in that it will look wonderful, but I had to ask the question.
Oh my gosh. That's why
Carolyn's
this is
been
so
a
much fun.
great mentor to me through the years. I've been very fortunate.
All right, so now we're getting it all fluffy. Look at
Oh,
that.
so pretty.
This
Love
guy's
it.
a little squished in here. Maybe it could come out, but I don't want to take it out because, like you, I think those centers are just on the ranunculus are just too much. So I put everything in this arrangement I planned. Oh, let's see. Oh, some mint.
Oh.
And I think I also wanted to make sure these darling little buds get included. So I have to find a place for that. And then I think we're getting close to wrapping it up, right? Let's just see. How's that? Ooh, cute.
Well, I guess the question is, how do you know when to walk away?
That's the classic
When are you
question.
finished?
When are you done? When you run out of flowers or time? But in this case, I'm not going to run out of flowers. I am going to run out of time. But, you know, this obviously, the container's full. This is getting to done. One thing to do is just to take a break. Step back, leave the room, walk away, and when you come back, as in so many things in life, you see it with fresh eyes. And that's really important because there is a little stage you want to do of primping and just doing touch-ups and seeing is the balance okay, are there any holes. In this arrangement where everything's packed so dense, there probably isn't a hole. I'll be lucky if I can find a place to put this in.
Yes.
But
It
in
smells so good. You just cut the stem again.
I
Oh.
know, isn't it beautiful? Yeah, lovely. So,
So you could use that for, you could multi-purpose that mint. Can you use that for, is it because you bought it in the flower market? Could you still eat it?
I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't. Who knows how it was treated?
Right.
Yeah. Commercial flowers are treated to make sure that they don't have bugs or diseases, and I don't know that the mint was treated any differently from everything else. So I'd be careful. Yeah. But people will have this in the garden. And it smells great. It really, so look at this, it's looking good.
Oh, it looks beautiful. Oh gosh, look at that. I like how you did that mint. And also at Landsake Farm too, when I go for my weekly share there during the summer, they have an herb section and you can go in and snip what you want. And so now.
And think sage. Sage would be beautiful. Oh, so many herbs would be absolutely gorgeous. So yes, if that works for you, and that's what you want to do, then do it. Okay, so here, I think I'm kind of getting to the end of this. I pretty much jam-packed it nice and full, looking good. Might trim this tulip leaf. It's a little bit taking away from these incredible blossoms. You can trim tulip leaves. Tulips will grow over time a little bit. So tomorrow I might have to look at this arrangement and rein them in a little.
So what do you do then? You could just take it out and snip it, cut it down and put it back in? Or? Okay.
Yes, and because I'm working in water here, it's different from Oasis. I can take things out, snip them, and put them back in.
And when we say Oasis, this is what we mean.
That's what we need.
This is what we mean. So you put that in water and you use it to stabilize your plant material. You put it in a container.
Soak it first thoroughly, cut it to fit the container.
Yeah, and there's a whole technique around this, but we're not focusing on that because there's a question about the viability of this product.
Right. We will use that at some point because it's incredibly useful. It's great, but we're, especially with some encouragement from some of our garden club members, I've really been trying to move away from it.
Right, so this is one step closer to, look at that's beautiful, and everything is very stable.
Right, I'm gonna stick one more of these in.
And you just used a tape grid, that's great.
Yep, yep. Okay, so if this will go in, if I haven't got this all so tight now, then I think I'll be close to being there. Look at that, all right. So how are we doing? Am I done, pretty much? Do I need one more in there? Or have I got it?
Do we take a break and walk away?
Yeah, let's do that. We'll take a break, tidy up a little bit, and then we can just see it on the table and how it looks. So Katie, here we have the finished arrangement.
Ah, it's beautiful.
I'm going to turn, thank you. And thank you for your help, too.
You did manage the
round arrangement in the square container. You're very sweet. So I'm turning this slowly because I don't know what's the front. I don't think it has a real front, and it doesn't matter. But it's fun for everyone to see it and decide, where they think the principal view is. We have some takeaways from today. The first is, when you begin arranging, have a vision. When you begin planning your arrangement, have a vision for what you want to create, where it's going to go, about what size it wants to be. Is it a gift for a friend's birthday or anniversary or whatever? You're just celebrating the season spring, as you and I are. Then you will choose your container and your mechanics to support that vision. And tape is great for the environment, tape and water. Flowers love being directly in water, but it's not a great mechanic for every kind of arrangement or every size of arrangement. So if you need to use Oasis, do not feel bad about it. Select flowers for their color, their size, their form, and their texture. And you can add real distinction to your arrangement by doing that, keeping all that in mind for foliage too. Look what we have here. We have the brilliant green of the spearmint. We have the suede gray, almost blue gray of the dusty miller. And then we have the green and cream in this hellebore. And we have the wonderful medium green here, I'll show you, in this Andromeda. So we have a lot of colors that we're using, and they're all beautiful with this pink palette.
I love every side as you keep turning. I decide, well, that must be the front. That's beautiful. No, I like this side the best. Oh, no.
I can't decide either. Maybe we just look at it top down, get a little drone, and photograph it from the top. So Katie and I have had a really nice time putting this little show together for you and working with these flowers. We encourage you to visit Weston Garden Club website, where you can learn about the programs we offer, membership, and see our educational videos. We want to wish you the best for spring. Happy arranging. Take care, and we hope to see you soon. And thank you again to the Art and Innovation Center for hosting our show today.